So this is a really different story, and uh, it's actually got some interesting twists and turns. So Swinny and I, in particular, are really big fans of speedrunning, like not doing it, but just watching it. So Mike would hate that.
No,
Hey,
I actually probably wouldn't mind it because it's quick.
I used to do my own speed runs of Donkey Kong Country 3 in the back in the day, and Day of the Tentacle. Sure, I didn't use any tech. I didn't know what I was doing, but I enjoyed speedrunning.
So okay, I'll just we've already gone off track at the start of the story, but my experience with speedrunning, and like this is a rare moment of humility for me. So for whatever reason, I got Odyssey a little bit earlier than I was meant to, Mario Odyssey, and I was able to beat it. And I like the time that I had was like, oh, this is like the fastest time in the world to complete this game. I should submit this to speedrun and then say, hey, I'm the number one speedrunner of Odyssey at some moment in my life. And then I realized that there's a whole like mod checking, blah, blah, blah. So there's always a delay on that site anyway. So I'm sure other people would have already had a better time. But yeah, that was my brief stint. Anyway, so there's been a huge controversy. It's quite interesting actually in the Minecraft speedrunning community. And in terms of Minecraft speedrunning, the challenge there, and I guess the framing of it, because there's always, certain runs that people do, certain types of runs. So with Minecraft, really the main run that people do is sort of like a random seeding run. And there's a whole bunch of things that you can do and a whole bunch of tricks and tips to be able to get to the Ender Dragon and actually close out that game. And the time to be able to beat it is incredible given the average time that people take to beat that game. And that's like defeat the Ender Dragon is like about 100 hours, I think, on average for people. Um, so, it's an interesting category because it's so focused on RNG, like random number generators. It's like,
It's absolutely insane. Like it
yeah,
would, as someone that plays a lot of RPGs with random drop rates, this scares me. I'm like, I don't want any part of these kind of RNG rates.
yeah. And like, Swinny, speedrunning RNG is like such a core component for good or for bad in speedrunning. So there's many speedruns where there's certain parts of the game, and unfortunately, it could be really deep into the game where RNG is really critical for you to save a minute or two, and if you don't save that time, then it's basically an unviable run. Like things like that are quite common in speedrunning.
It's crazy. Like games that like talk about RPGs, games that are turn based, that have random encounters. The amount of work that they've done to decipher how the seeds are generated and how to avoid random encounters, it's kind of crazy, to essentially mitigate as much possible RNG as they can.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So speedrunning is really cool. It's like gained a lot of traction and popularity. I think if anyone wants to get their head around it, there's a really good YouTube channel called Summoning Salt. That's correct, right, Swinny?
That is correct.
Yeah, so I think that's a really great way to just get your head around speedrunning. Go on that channel, check out the most popular videos there. They're really cool kind of introductions into speedrunning. But essentially with Minecraft, the whole thing's RNG. Like it's way less skill, like, and there's a lot of skill, but the RNG is such a core component, and that's kind of what an interesting part of the Minecraft speedrunning, because normally people are trying to avoid RNG. This is all about RNG. Now, so that's like speed running for Minecraft. Then there's a YouTuber, and he's a huge YouTuber. It's like 12 million subscribers, called Dream. So massive YouTuber, does lots of like let's plays and videos and all that kind of stuff that popular YouTubers do. Very unfamiliar for us. And essentially, he on the side does speedrunning for Minecraft because he does a lot of Minecraft videos, and he had got like top 5 in the world for some of these runs, which is pretty incredible for a person who's not doing it in a dedicated way. And I think the fact that he's not doing it like as a 24/7 thing, whereas a lot of the speedrunners in that community are often just doing this, grinding it out day after day, cause people to be a little bit suspicious. It's like, how is this guy doing so well when other people are grinding it out 24/7? And there was one stream he did recently where he did set a time for the new version of Minecraft. I think it was either the best time or it was like, again, one of the top 5 times. And people were just like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Like he's having, just eyeballing it, people are like, he's having way too much luck. Like essentially, like there's heaps of components in the game where it's like a 50-50 chance of something happening, and he's just getting those coin flips over and over and over again to come up as his heads. So the moderators on is it speedrun.com? I always forget because it's speedrun and speedruns.
I'm not sure of exactly which one this is myself.
It's the big one. I can't remember. I think it's like speedrun.com. They actually compiled like all the runs that he was doing on the stream, including the one that he actually got. That was like one of the top tiered ones. And they started going, okay, well, like that's a 1 in 12 chance, or this is a 1 in 2 chance. And they started like mapping it all out. And they made this amazing video that we can link into the show notes. And essentially, they calculated that the whole run would be a 1 in 7.5 trillion chance of happening, how the stream eventuated. Right? So essentially, when you go 1 in, 7.5 trillion, the guy's cheated. Because the thing is with Minecraft, you can manipulate.
Allegedly, yes, good point, Mike. Allegedly. Well, this is not me saying it. This is the mods are saying. yeah.
By the way, I don't know if this is exact. Is it mcspeedrun.com? Because that's what they've linked all the stuff off. So Minecraft.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I was saying a different one. Yeah, cool. Thanks for the correction there. Saves us from next week. And so like there was the accusations, and then the whole community was like, Dream's cheated, this guy's the biggest cheat, it's going crazy. All right. And like lots of YouTubers were weighing into it because he's a big YouTuber with like 12 to 14 million subscribers. And then just about 3 days ago, I think he dropped a video, which was like my response to it. And, and I guess he has the resources, but what he did was he hired a PhD from Harvard, who's like an astrostatistician, to break their video apart. And then he wrote this 14-page paper about how it's wrong, like all the stats and the analysis. So people are going through it. And it's like, oh my God, like everyone's been blasting him is completely wrong. And then the funny thing is in this video that Dream made is like, it's something like, I think they were off by 7.4999 trillion or some number like that, like in terms of the chance. So what I said was like 7.5 trillion, 1 in 7.5. I think they were off by 7.499 trillion.
So we're still talking about like how many millions?
Exactly. So this is the interesting thing, right? Then it came down to essentially they're saying it's probably like a 1 in 100 million run.
Right. Which, look, is possible, hence why it's 1 in 100 million, but highly unlikely that's legit.
It's allegedly possible. And then like for one more twist in the story, because this was going crazy on the statistics subreddit.
Oh yeah.
Because everyone's debating about statistics. And I should say, like, I've got a maths degree. I don't have a stats degree. Maths to me is so much easier than statistics. Statistics, just because you're trying to model things and say this thing has like a normal distribution, behavior. Well, but that could be that could be slightly off and then really throw things out. Then for the final twist, they had this guy who's also a PhD in stats, and he was being verified by Reddit. So that means he had to show his credentials, prove it, do all this stuff. And he wrote this huge Reddit post breaking down the paper and saying, oh, I get what they're doing here, but they've got the wrong distribution. And it's
on that paper that was breaking down. Wow.
Yeah. And he's like written this thing and it's got like 8,000 or 10,000 upvotes or whatever. And he's basically breaking it apart as to why the paper is also really, really flawed. And essentially his summary in the end was the original analysis, while, there were problems with it, it's still more accurate than the paper. And he's essentially like that guy was starting to accuse Dream of manipulating it. Like he hired someone to write a paper, not being independent and all this other kind of stuff. It's so fascinating. Because the thing to me that I thought was so odd is like, number one, no one knows what this Dream guy looks like. He's never done like a face cam thing. And then he's such a massive YouTuber. He doesn't need to do this, but his reputation's a bit on the line with everyone.
It's totally on the line now. Yeah.
So I just thought it would be a funny story to cover.
It's kind of crazy because I hadn't heard about this, but just a couple of days ago, I watched a video from an Australian speedrunner that is very popular on YouTube where he talks about speedrun controversies and stories called Carl Jobst or Jobst.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy, yeah.
And there was someone that apparently equaled the Super Mario Brothers world record on who wasn't even like one of the like he basically did it in such a small amount of attempts, and it's the same kind of thing where technically he has the evidence to prove that his run was legit, but because of the amount of he's been proven to have cheated in the past, and because of all these other things, they haven't upheld it. They haven't actually. So it's kind of like this situation where technically they don't have the evidence to say he has cheated, but all the everything else is basically saying it's so unlikely that this would actually happen. You know, it's kind of just weird to back that this stuff, like, I watched that other thing, which is kind of been something that's going on for the last couple of months in the Super Mario Brothers world record community.
Yeah, I saw that one as well, and I think it's going to be just a complete problem in the speedrun community. I mean, they've gone from, like, it was very just, by honor, basically, because, like, why are people doing this? Who cares? It's just all nerds like us, right? Like, it's so nerdy and niche. Like, it's nerdy for nerdy people, right?
Yeah.
And I say that with love because I love this stuff. But like, they had stuff where they didn't even realize that they were playing, like, one person was playing on a virtual console version, which runs slightly slower, and then they'll jump across to the proper version. And it's like, oh, I've improved my time by a minute. Like, it's very, like, rudimentary, I guess, at the start, but now it's starting to become more popular. It's actually, there's so many problems with it because you're trusting people. They're running on their systems. Like, who knows, And I guess you go all the way back to King of Kongs, right? With, like, Billy Mitchell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of stuff that's allegedly. He sues everyone, so it's very much alleged.
It is very alleged. We're not going to talk about Billy Mitchell.
Don't even mention. You just don't want to summon him. So I'd encourage you guys. To check this stuff out. It's quite funny. I feel like there's going to be one final twist in the story because there's a bit too much.
He'll get a presidential pardon.
There's a bit too much smoke with the story, so I feel like there might be a smoking gun out there that gets someone in trouble. So, all right, well, let's get into
the smoking gun. That's actually Notch, the creator of Minecraft. Dreams.
That would be sick if he weighed in.
No, that is him. He is Dreams.
I get you. That's true.
He's just good at putting on a different accent.
All right, well, let's get into my